back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. Gold is up to $13.18 today. Silver is up 37 cents to $22.30. The European markets were up. The Asian markets were pretty much up. I don't think there was anything that was down in the market. You know, happy days are here again. It's all about the fraud. It's all about the fraud for them and the truth for us. John, do we have any callers? Dave in New York. Dave in New York, you're on the air. Go ahead, please. What's on your mind, Dave?
I came to the rescue when you called.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't believe there's no callers. That's amazing. Okay, anyway, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. No, you amazed me again because I knew that, you know, we had the forewarning of that typhoon coming to Fukushima. And I watched the news the next day, you know, Thursday morning, and all they talked about was, and the typhoon hit Tokyo today. And the elephant in the room was, why aren't they talking about Fukushima? But I've even got those numbers. I've got the 4,000 becquerels per liter memorized now.
400,000.
Oh, yeah, 400. Oh, that's right, and 6,000 times more than it was on Wednesday. So when I get on local talk radio today, I will have something to tell them.
Good for you. Good for you, Dave. That's the way to do it. And tell them that the source is the Power Hour radio show. Let them go check it out themselves.
And one other thing. You know how Dave from Texas has that really nice voice? You know who he sounds like? I mean, exactly like Sam Elliott, the actor. He was in the movie We Were Soldiers and Roadhouse. Yeah. And he does those Dodge truck commercials about being Dodge tough. You know what I mean? All that stuff going on. So just so that, you know, if Sherry Rogers wants to hear more, she can watch a Sam Elliott movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate the phone call, Dave. Good call. Thank you. And, yeah, call on your local shows and say, did you realize that it is an end-of-the-world scenario? Could be because of what's happened there. 400,000 becquerels. Oh, my gosh. Per liter. Per liter. Mike in Tennessee, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, Mike. What's on your mind?
Just wanted to give a quick PSA. The Chupacabra report, I was driving through central eastern Mississippi this morning at about 1 a.m., and the local station this morning at 6 o'clock, traveling through Tupelo, said that there was a goat that was found, its throat was taken apart, and there was reporting of a Chupacabra. No, my friends, what that is a lion. I saw it on the side of the road. It is somebody's cat they raised. They probably kicked it to the curb. And they forage along the roads because that's where the roadkill is. It's easy pickings. And so I'm just giving a PSA to all those people thinking there's a Chupacabra. It's a lion. I wish I had a camera. But, yeah, it's a cat. It's a big cat. It's probably a 200-pound cat.
Wow. I would like to know more about the how do you say it?
Chupacabra. It's
Chupacabra. Chupacabra,
yeah,
okay.
Some people say it's like a hyena, but it's not really a real thing. It's just a myth. But the lion is a real thing. I wish I'm going to go buy me one of these dash cams today because had I had the dash cam, I was driving a new Suburban that had these really great high beams, and I could see probably a mile down the road. And so I saw this thing for about a good 10 seconds. And then when I saw the big tail sticking out there with the barb on the end of it, you know how a male lion...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got like a 6-foot-long tail. I mean, you can't tell me this is a dog or I know I raise wolves, so I know what wolves and coyotes look like. This is a cat. But
interesting.
Anyway.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the phone call, Mike. Thank you for calling in. Those dash cams might be something to have. They sure might, especially if you get pulled over or stopped. Thank you very much for that. Hey, I'm going to ask a lot of you. I would like to see if we could, at TalkStream Live, get to number 2 today with all the people that are listening because of this breaking news in the next hour. Because that I think it's going to get more people to listen if they want to know who is this Power Hour program. Because we're number 3 right now on TalkStreamLive.com. If you go to TalkStream Live, TALK, StreamLive.com, click on the Power Hour and click on the channel there, then it'll take you right to listening to the program. And let's see if we can get to number 2 and beat Laura Ingraham. Maybe Glenn Beck. We'll be back. Welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us, caring about your world. This is going to be a YouTuber, that's for sure. This is going to be one to post, ladies and gentlemen, and the message is getting to the people of what is happening. Now, we're going to be talking to two gentlemen today on a breaking story. I mean, if we've ever carried a breaking story, today is it. Joining me this first part of the program is DERRICK Robinson, and a little bit later is Timothy White. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Timothy if he would just kind of hang loose there for a few minutes so we can set the stage as to what happened in this breaking news. I think it is huge. I think it is one of the biggest things that has ever come down the pike. And I think we need to expose this and explore it, get it out there, and do whatever we can. Now, DERRICK Robinson is president of the human rights organization Freedom from Covert, Harassment, and Surveillance. The group was formed in 2005 to address the issues of organized stalking, remote electronic assaults. The secret research and deployment of these devices and techniques affects multitudes of people in this country, and many are unaware that they are being harassed electronically or stalked. DERRICK is former Navy. His duty placed him in a small compartment across the hall from the NSA, and that's when he began to realize that he was targeted with electromagnetic sounds and frequencies known as electronic harassment, feeling frequencies, and sharp feelings in his body and head. He survived years of that torture and eventually founded Freedom from Covert, Harassment, and Surveillance. And he joins us here today. Thank you so much, DERRICK, for joining us in the Power Hour today.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for the invitation, Joyce.
All right, tell us what happened. You are so welcome to be on this show. I know Eleanor White has been on this program before. She is an amazing person who has, been following this issue for a long time and gives me a lot of good information. Dr. Hall has been on the program. There have been a number of people following electronic harassment now, and it's growing. But there was an incident that occurred on September 1st and an email that I would appreciate your telling our listeners about. What happened on September 1st?
Okay, September 1st, we received an email from Aaron Alexis. He was reaching out to our community. Basically, he was seeking help for a particular situation that was happening in his life. I'm just looking at the email now. He states that he was recently, he had come under attack. And basically these are microwave weapons he's talking about. And so he talks about his assignment in Rhode Island and how he was going from hotel to hotel, hearing these voices, and he thought he was escaping by doing all this moving around. Eventually he was able to find our site and was able to put together what was happening. That he was hearing voices, and that this was technology that was being used on him. And so he was reaching out to us for help. He feels that he was being followed by these people that he didn't know, and he was trying to find some way to get relief from all these things happening to him. So, also in the email, he states that he's located somewhere near the Pentagon. And according to the FBI, from August the 31st to September the 7th, Alexis stayed at a hotel in the Pentagon City area of Arlington, Virginia. So this corresponds to the time period that we received that email that he was staying in Pentagon City, someplace near the Pentagon, as he was stating. So he also states that he knew at the time the specific group in the military that was responsible for developing this technology. So after that, he's asking for assistance in being free, I guess, of these technologies that were attacking him. So that was the purpose for him emailing us on September the 1st.
All right, let me just read this. Let me read the email only because it's kind of hard to hear your voice a little bit. And here's the email, listeners. Subject is need assistance on dealing with the direct energy attacks. September 1st. Hello, my name is Aaron. I am ex-Navy, and I've been working as a contractor for the DOD. I've recently come under attack after blowing up at Norfolk Airport in Virginia. The first attack started coming when I was on assignment in Rhode Island. I was hearing what I thought was people next door telling lies about me. In truth, I didn't know that I was under attack and thought I could escape what I was experiencing by leaving the hotel I was in. It wasn't until it almost cost me my job that I realized that one. I wasn't crazy, and that I had to figure out what was going on. I'm glad I found this site, and I'm going to let you give the site in just a second here, Derrick. I'm glad that I found the site. However, I need assistance because I have not allowed them to scare me off my job, but I fear the constant bombardment from the ELF weapon is starting to take its toll on my body. I'm currently in D.C. now, near the Pentagon. I think I know the specific group in the military. Wow, we've got some interference there. I think I know the specific group in the military that is responsible for developing and assisting the military with. Any assistance you can give me at the same time and whatever info I can give you on what I know, please contact me ASAP. Aaron Alexis. Now, that's the email itself. Now, you all probably get a gazillion emails like I do, and you may not see every one, but was there something that, did you all miss this email or not realize it was important, or did you respond to the email when it came in September 1st?
Well, we get emails similar to this every day, Joyce. In fact, we get emails that are far more distressing than what Aaron wrote. And it's very common for us. And if we interact with them just once, we more likely will not remember this person after a few weeks. So unless there's repeated contact, then we'll start to establish, a relationship, friendship, whatever.
Right.
But a one-time contact likely won't remember.
Let me just say that I understand what you're saying because I deal with so many vets now. Thousands and thousands of Gulf War veterans that are sick and that have Gulf War illness, and that I can't remember them all. I can't remember if I responded, didn't respond, and you're right. Unless you have some reason to have an ongoing relationship with them, you don't remember those individual letters. But how did it come to your attention that this email was received by your organization?
Actually, it was brought to our attention, Joyce, by the FBI.
Really?
They are apparently looking into this further with this Aaron Alexis incident. They had approached one of our board members recently and asked him some questions about Aaron Alexis. Of course, he didn't remember who Aaron, corresponding with Aaron Alexis. This was after this incident. And then until the agent produced the email that you just read, after that, and the FBI agent said that they were looking into this incident, trying to see why Aaron did what he did. And he asked them a few more questions, and they eventually left. After that, he had shared this experience with the rest of the board members. And when he forwarded the email to me, I realized that I had personally been in contact with Aaron. And basically, after the email that you read, I responded to him, and basically I said, should I just read what I wrote to him?
Oh, please. Okay, let me just update everybody and tell them where we are on this. Aaron Alexis, who allegedly did the shooting at the base there in D.C., the naval base in D.C., had contacted this organization. Real quickly, what is your website, by the way?
It's freedomfchs.com. FCHS.com.
He contacted that website, which is an anti-stalking, anti-harassment website, and Aaron Alexis contacted them, and then you had emailed him back. Now, this was September 1st, and do you recall the day of the shooting?
That was September the 16th.
Okay, so about a little more than 2 weeks later, then he did the shooting. This is huge news. This is absolutely huge news, which is what we thought because of ELF on the weapon. Now, what do you think ELF stands for?
Extremely low frequency.
Extremely low frequency. Okay, now you had responded to him by email. Go ahead and please read your email as it was.
Okay, I say to him, "Hi, Aaron. Thanks for writing to us. We are very familiar with government harassment using covert technologies. Feel free to join our efforts to gain freedom from the matrix. This is a national as well as international effort. Many are finding us because governments are often abusive and usually do not regulate themselves. Call or write me anytime for more information about how you can become involved." And I leave my number for him to contact me if he wanted to. And then he writes me back, and he says to me, "Derrick, I have what I believe to be the locations for where they've been developing these weapons for decades. The ELF weapons are part of the weapons system of most of the modern vessels fielded by the Navy. I want to become part of this effort, mostly for self-preservation. The voices they've induced into my head are tiresome. However, if I can figure out how to keep them from disturbing my sleep cycles, I would be most interested to find out."
Wow, this is huge, ladies and gentlemen. This is huge. This is the real deal story now. Was Columbine the same way? Was Jared Loughner? Was the Aurora shooting? We'll ask that question when we get back from this break of Derrick. And we're going to be joined in this next hour by Timothy. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this 4-minute break. Welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. This is an important story. This is one of the most important stories we have ever done because it verifies and validates what we have been saying. Ladies and gentlemen, this is huge. And I wish that you all, whoever's doing the YouTubes, would get this up as soon as possible because we've got to provide protection for these two gentlemen who are doing the right thing. They have been doing this for a long time, speaking out to the public, to the media. They have a support group, website. They've been doing so much to stand for this issue of electronic harassment. We need to support them now. Derrick says that he is also electronically harassed. We'll have to speak to him at another time about that and what that is like to live like that. But for right now, Derrick, you said that the FBI contacted you. Now, what questions did the FBI have of you other than do you have an email from him? What were their questions to you?
Okay, the FBI contacted one of our board members, Max Williams. They contacted, and they were wanting to know basically about the organization. They asked him about his relationship to Aaron Alexis. Of course, he didn't remember much about that. And let's see. Trying to think what else they asked him. Mostly what they wanted to find out from him is they wanted to establish that, that things, that he was okay, that he was stable, that there wasn't any subversive activity going on with our website or any of our board members. And they actually even complimented, Max said they compliment our website. It was a really good site.
And you're talking about F as in Frank.
They said that they're doing their investigation into why Aaron Alexis did what he did. So they are, I guess, going through his emails, going through his computer, his websites and things like that, looking for clues as to what prompted him to do all the shooting.
Did they take the original copy of the email or a copy of it?
Well, I'd have to ask Max that. I'm not sure what they produced to him.
Okay. I'm just curious whether they took his originals or copies. Now, the other question I have before we go into Timothy White in the next segment is, do you think that there are other shooters that have been linked in this same kind of a scenario with ELF or with some type of electronic harassment?
Oh, I'm positive, Joyce. This is not the first time this has happened. We have suspected in many instances, especially those that hear voices that have been had mental issues in the past, who have been labeled schizophrenic. Often those people are falsely diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic because psychiatrists may not understand the technologies that are available, that are being used upon people. So this is a very frequent occurrence in our society now. And we just like for people to be aware that the voice-to-skull technology does exist. And if you're hearing these voices, they may be trying to influence you to commit some type of a heinous act. Just to please be aware that it's oftentimes just that man sitting behind a computer, speaking to individuals, trying to coerce them and to commit heinous atrocities. Excuse me. And we see this repeatedly, these active shooters. In some cases, we suspect that this is what has happened to them.
Well, this is huge, ladies and gentlemen, and I wish you would go to the website. It is F as in Frank, C as in Charlie, HS, that or Foxtrot Charlie Hotel Sierra.com. FCHS.com. Check out their website. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your coming forward, Derrick. You're going to be having some interviews, and we need to get this word to other talk shows, every other talk show. Now, we are fortunate to be breaking this story here at the Power Hour, but I would like for you all to call other talk shows and say you need to talk to these people at FCHS.com and find out about this whole idea of what took place here. There's also a website called supersoldiers.com and freedomfchs.com. Thank you, Derrick, so much for being on the program this morning. We're going to stay in touch with you because I want you to come back and talk about more about this subject. Thank you so much, Derrick Robinson.
Thank you, Joyce.
You have a blessed day. In this next hour, we're going to talk about the technology with a gentleman who has studied the technology. Oh, my gosh. Timothy White will join us in this next 30 minutes. You don't want to miss this. He's also in the same organization. We'll be back. 3 minutes.
The GCN Radio Network, providing the world with hard-hitting talk radio. GCN. Great talk radio starts here.
There is only one detox product that stands out above the rest. Micro Plant Powder. And it's available only at hempusa.org. Micro Plant Powder does wonders by removing toxins from the body. Detoxification is a vital process that's extremely important for restoring your health. Micro Plant Powder is available in 8 different formulations, and we can help you choose the one that's perfect for your lifestyle. Micro Plant Powder is 100% chemical-free, non-GMO, anti-inflammatory, gluten-free, and packaged by hand in BPA-free containers. HempUSA.org wants you to be healthy, and Micro Plant Powder is one of the best ways we know to detoxify your body from head to toe, all for about $10 a month. Take back your life and enjoy living again with Micro Plant Powder. Call 888-910-4367. That's 888-910-4367. Micro Plant Powder, available only at HempUSA.org.
Don't answer it! How can I stop these annoying collection calls?
Imagine being free from your debt without settling and with no payment plan, no negotiating or filing bankruptcy, and no attorneys. What if you could eliminate the risk from all your unsecured debt in about 90 days and keep all your money? You can. It's called Zero Debt Guarantee, and it works. There's no other program of its kind on the planet, and we guarantee the results in writing. Call now, 800-477-9256. Let our team team of experts provide you with the resources to fight back, stop collection calls, and prevent and stop wage garnishments and bank levies. If you're facing foreclosure, we can help. Don't go it alone. Get free information now by calling 800-477-9256. Talk to an expert who has also completed our program. Call 800-477-9256 for free info or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. That's 800-477-9256 or go to ZeroDebtGuarantee.com.
Thomas Jefferson once said, "When the people fear their government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty." Our God-given right to life and liberty and the right to determine what is best for our lives and our family's health are in jeopardy. If we the people do not diligently assert these rights, they may be taken away and lost forever. Utopia Silver is known for fighting for health freedom, and we will not meekly allow ourselves to be led as lambs to the slaughter, sitting passively by. And accepting the chains of slavery that are being placed on America is not an option. Please stand with Utopia Silver in this fight. Utopia Silver carries some of the most effective colloidal silver products on the market and numerous other high-quality health supplements. Visit us today at utopiasilver.com. That's UTOPIA, utopiasilver.com. Or call us today at 1-888-213-4338. 1-888-213-4338.
Back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. 33 minutes after the hour. I'm not going to do any promotion here at the bottom of the hour because I want to get to the story. We want to spend some time on the story. But please, do support the Power Mall. That's how we bring you these guests. That's how we bring you this breaking news. And I've got to give a huge thank you to Catherine, who did the work over the weekend on this story. I want to thank her very much. So we are going to be talking today to Tim White. Tim White is a human rights activist, and he's a telecommunications engineer, which puts him in the perfect position to be able to address, discuss, and educate us on this ELF technology. How are they able to do voice to skull? Now, if you're just joining us, it turns out that Aaron Alexis, the Navy DC shooter, had contacted this organization before, had contacted the organization and it is freedomfchs.com, freedomfchs.com, had contacted that organization, the alleged shooter, and told them he was having problems with being electronically harassed. They emailed back and forth, they had communication, and it appears now that the FBI has now come to this organization, freedomfchs.com, through their website, to find out what they know and what they're doing as an organization. Everything is on the up and up with the organization. They're just trying to get the word to the people. Now, Timothy White joins us this hour, and I'm going to let Timothy talk about his experience of being harassed and also what it is and how they're doing it. Thank you so very much, Tim, for joining us in the Power Hour today.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Joyce, and we're glad as an organization to get this opportunity to present this tragedy and atrocity to the public. And I'd also like to give my condolences to the victims of these shooters like Aaron, and there's been many more, as Derrick may have mentioned. Okay. My background in freedom is as I'm the vice president, executive vice president, and you just spoke with Derrick, who is the president. We provide outreach and support to victims who think they may be victimized by this remote invasive technology, as I was at one time for many, many years, and so were many other people in our organization. To move forward, these technologies have been around for a long time, and it goes back to, unfortunately, our government. And if you have any doubt that this mind control is prevalent or these intrusive technologies are around, you can just look up the patents. They're patents. There's about 35 listed patents on mind control technologies alone in the public domain. And I'm not talking about patents that are in the arena for black operations that are probably not listed. But it's there, and it's proven. And we question are these technologies in use and who's using them. The Navy has been using technology called ELF, which is extreme low frequency, a very low frequency for submarine communication since the 50s. It's the technology that's been around. But these are technologies that are non-electric. They're more in the magnetic field range. But they have the ability to detect and interact because they're in something called the Schumann resonances. You interact with the bioorganisms. And they do that because the evolution of animals, especially mammalians, and all creatures, did so around these Schumann resonances. But this is a frequency that the Navy's been using intrusively, and it was developed, and there's reports that are in the public domain with people like Dr. Michael Persinger, L. Lundberg, and if you look at Eleanor White, who has extensive information on her site about the development of these technologies and who was around to develop it. Ellen, unfortunately, has passed away, but he was one of the premier researchers for the naval intelligence community in weaponizing these systems for the Navy and subsequently the NSA. Okay. The problem we're having is getting the government to address this in any form to protect citizens that are being harassed.
Well, let me stop you right there. Timothy. If the government is doing it and you are appealing to the government to stop doing it, I mean, do we not have a problem here?
We obviously have a problem, and it's a ridiculous, never-ending cycle of incompetence at the command levels, at the highest levels. You'll notice that because anyone who comes forward is not considered a whistleblower. They're turned into a leaker. So you're leaking government information, and therefore you're subject to be imprisoned. So you have a revolving door here that would let anyone who has direct knowledge of this would be treated as a treasonous individual and incarcerated, and that's evident. If you look at the case of Edward Snowden, even more importantly, the case of Russell Tice, who was very involved with exposing this, even more so than Mr. Snowden, and he ended up in an even more ridiculous quagmire because he wanted to testify before Congress, and the NSA would not let him testify before Congress because they claimed Congress did not have adequate security level to hear his testimony. That's a ridiculous situation.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you need to review those cases and see that is there. So we need the public, we need citizens to be aware that this is a technology that's very, very invasive. It can be very intrusive and damaging on an individual, and it can be very non-invasive and subliminal. They're using it on large populations of people, and they use it on individuals to test them and to manipulate them and to further advance their collection of data neurologically. What we don't seem to think about every day is that the human brain is a digital computer, a biological digital computer, and basically it operates on zeros and ones, and it has no firewall. The NSA has managed to provide the decoding devices for most people's active potentials that control everything you do, think, feel, talk, and say. So they have several ways of communicating with you in something called synthetic telepathy that is very easily done with low frequency and pulse microwave into the brain. And it allows brain entrainment. So you can have a remote computer connection between your brain and a computer and another individual connected to the brain and the computer. You actually can connect individuals, or you can have an individual connected to the computer. Okay, the Air Force is now using it and developing this for pilots to fly planes with just using their thought patterns. So this, and the information is in the public domain. It's not hidden. Okay, but what do we need to do to stop the government running rampant by weaponizing this technology and not utilizing it?
Okay, before we get to that point, let me go back a second here. Now, Timothy, you are electronically harassed. Am I correct on that?
Yes, I am.
How long do you think you have been electronically harassed?
Well, I know that they were doing intrusive, very intrusive torture, and when it's equivalent to being incarcerated in your own home, in your own life. It is very invasive. And that went on nonstop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 12 years.
Wow. Now, how does it most impact you? What is if you were to pick like 1, 2, or 3 things that the electronic harassment does to you or you feel from it, what would that be?
Well, the first most interesting is in the pathology, and I tell victims just because my job in the organization is outreach. And someone like Aaron and many others have contacted me on the verge of committing a crime, not necessarily a crime, an act of retaliation, okay, or they're looking for some technical way to alleviate this thing. But the first thing that you will receive is they start actually people don't hear voices. These voices are transmitted to the individuals, okay? And they're transmitted in their ocular cortex, in their audio cortex, in the place where you hear. And they also can transmit not only voices, it's video, it's taste, it's sound, it's emotions. It's not just voices. That's the first thing. They start with emotional attacks, okay? They can make you cry when you're supposed to laugh, or laugh when you're supposed to cry. But essentially, they let you know that you've been captured. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And when you get that feeling and you get that information, most victims early on in these attacks, they do act out and try to look for anyone around them that may be responsible and retaliate. It's very common. But to have to endure someone talking to you as we are communicating now, 24 hours a day, nonstop, in your head, in a place where you would receive your revelation for God or your angels or some spirit talking to you. This is a place where you have free thought, is where they attack you. And in essence, in this millennium, the ability of free thought is that what you have is actually gone. They can intrusively and non-intrusively read the mind of any individual they want because they have decoded the brain signals.
You know, there is a new commercial out on TV. Have you seen that commercial that says that people who laugh uncontrollably when they don't mean to, and people who are crying and can't stop and don't mean to? Have you seen that commercial on TV?
No, but you're describing this technology absolutely perfectly.
Okay, let me just tell you real quickly here. ABC News even covered the story. It's when you can't stop laughing or crying. This is now called pseudobulbar effect. Pseudobulbar, Pseudobulbar affect. Now, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse, and I was in psych nursing for a long time also. Never heard of this new diagnosis that's out. And it says if you have pseudobulbar effect, or if you laugh when you contact us. I mean, there's something behind this, and I just got chills when you mentioned that because I've been wondering about that commercial. So you are controlled, essentially.
You're controlled, you're manipulated, and there's several kinds of victims. You get victims like Derrick may have mentioned who only get attacked. They get subliminal information, very light information, and then they get nervous system perturbation, and it burns, it bothers, and emotional discomfort. And you get some people who, like myself, like Aaron. Like a gentleman that I want to tell you about, his name is John Turner, who also is a suicide murder victim that we claimed, and the reason that we had a contingent here on the East Coast go to the FBI and file a report and file claims on a consistent basis was after this incident. It was a triple murder suicide in Washington, Florida. We warned the FBI that this was a situation that is going to be ongoing, is going to happen. And while this technology is in use, no one is safe in public areas because victims there are thousands of victims. Many of them have come forward to us, and many of them have not. But these people are prone to retaliate at any time. They can't get help. They can't get assistance. Okay? It's going to happen, even those who reach out.
Now, and I cannot tell you how many times I've been told this by Gulf War veterans. Now, I am, spokesman for the American Gulf War Veterans Association, and I have been told this over and over again. I've even gone into prison and hearing some of these veterans tell me this, that I heard voices. I heard voices telling me to kill my child. I heard voices telling me to kill my twins. Those are a couple of experiences. Mm-hmm. And So this is not small by any means. Now, let me go back to the Aaron Alexis story, because that's the one thing that is now making this a public issue, is because Aaron Alexis was so obvious and so good about putting that ELF on his weapon that kind of brought it to the people's attention. Now, did you have contact with Aaron Alexis?
We have a protocol for outreach. Normally emails come in. We received myself and Derrick received the original email. Derrick responded, and I saw his response, so I let that alone and waited till the response came back. Until the response came back from the target. Normally, if they're on the East Coast and they're young males, when I say that, because we have a lot of victims in this, the majority of the victims in this atrocity, unfortunately, are females. And they're between 45 and 70 because they feel they have posed a less risk of threat, but they seem to be the preferred targets. And when young victims come in, they're usually more volatile, and I handle them. So what happens? Normally, Derrick replies, and I normally get the phone calls. Okay, and I explain the technology to them. So it's possible he may have called me. I don't have my phone records yet, nor do I know Aaron's number to verify that, to see if he's one of the many victims that I've spoken to during that month of September when that was happening. Okay.
Do you think, now, is this going to open this subject up further now for exposure and for examination? The very fact that you have the FBI involved in this, or do you expect to be more cover-up?
I wish they were more engaged. I happen to be one of the victims that just happens to have a lot of experience dealing with civil rights, dealing with human rights issues. I've been an activist a long time. But we made sure we had a paper trail with the FBI, and they're thoroughly embarrassed at this point. And they were embarrassed when I went to and spoke to them about the John Turner incident, to the point where they filed a formal complaint. They accepted our formal complaint, but they off the record, they wouldn't give me an on-record response as to who, when, and what is going to be done. They did, however, indicate that their hands were tied, and that their hands were tied by Congress. So at that point, that means that we have a problem at the highest level.
You're kidding me. Their hands are tied by Congress to pursue this.
Our complaint directly to the House of Representatives.
Wow, you guys are to be commended.
But we have a paper trail. We have this information. Somebody at some time is going to have to answer to this and answer with it, because these deaths are unnecessary. And I filed this complaint about John Turner's murder-suicide, which took place in July 2008. Okay, we were at the FBI office with the information of this murder-suicide, and this gentleman assisted me with helping a victim in Florida who had lost her child because she was hearing voices. And after he attended the court case, a month later, he subsequently couldn't take it anymore, and he killed himself and two other people.
Now, you sent me some information marked confidential. Now, my question to you is this information that I can that is still confidential, that I could put in our email blast?
It was confidential at the time. It was confidential because each person in the scan had their name on the report. I just removed the names.
Okay, then I'm going to send this to to put it in our email blast, because I want this to go out, this confidential information, freedom from covert harassment surveillance information on the equipment, how they do it. We don't have time to get into all of it today, but it'll be in the email blast on how they use the smart radio frequency RF counter, the engineering digifield Orion nonlinear junction detector. Oh, my gosh. There's so much good information here. This will be in the email blast. Sign up for the email blast at thepowerhour.com. We're going to come back. Final segment with Timothy White after this 3-minute break. And we'll have him back on. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have him back on. Stay tuned. We'll be back 3 minutes. Joyce Riley. Hi, I'm Joyce Riley, and many of you know that for years I was a cardiovascular heart transplant nurse. Since that time, I've educated myself on the importance of preventative care. It all begins with providing your heart and vascular system with the building blocks for good health. Strauss Heart Drops is the original formula that was copied by others but never duplicated. Strauss Heart Drops were developed by a master herbalist, Jim Strauss, after he suffered a heart attack in 1979. His doctor said he would only survive if he had heart bypass surgery. And Jim said no. He developed Strauss Heart Drops, the formula that has been copied by others but never been surpassed. Get the original Strauss Heart Drops 4-ounce bottle for only $79.99. Call the Power Hour at 877-817-9829, 877-817-9829. You've probably heard about the other products that have tried to copy the Strauss formula. Well, get the original Strauss Heart Drops by calling 877-817-9829. That's 877-817-9829. Now you can really do your heart right with Strauss Heart Drops.
These days, so many suffer from heartburn, stomach ulcers, and acid reflux, and most never realize it is the high acidity within the body that causes their discomfort. While selective diet choices can help, AlkaVision Plasma pH drops can really make a change. A few drops added to water can optimize your body's pH level, ridding you of harmful waste and acid, promoting health and restoring vibrance and energy. Healthy pH levels make all the difference. High acidity can also cause depression, insomnia, and irritability. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops bring you vital balance that can be truly life-changing. Alkalizing boosts immune response, reduces headaches and cramping, and even helps prevent bone loss. This is simple science that helps your body do what's natural. Order your AlkaVision pH drops for just $29.95 at alkavision.com, ALKAvision.com, or call 800-518-7615. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right. General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these specials. A 14 by 21 foot shop for under $6,000 or a 50 by 100 for under $30,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet under $30,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. It is 54 minutes after the hour. What a huge day it's been at the Power Hour. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, that Aaron Alexis contacted this organization, Freedom from Covert Harassment Surveillance, to get help before he was killed. And our concerns are for the families of all those people that were killed at the Navy Yard, and also for those family members of which we never heard anything about, of Aaron Alexis, which it seems like there's been an amazing silence over that issue. But joining us today is Timothy White, who is Vice President of Freedom from Covert Harassment Surveillance. And I'm going to put this previously confidential information in your email blast so that you can get it today. So go to thepowerhour.com and sign up for the email blast. It is most important that we get this information to the people now and create such a stir, such a huge stir about this, that people will start to understand what is happening. That it's going to come as a shock to a lot of people, because we've been talking about this for a long time. And voice-to-skull technology, we've seen some of the patents, but others haven't. It's going to come as a huge shock, but we need to get this out. If you could give us any information on what we can do now to support you. I know there's people, there are those that want to write stories. There's people that want to do interviews with you, because that's really important. There's one girl named Stephanie Sledge who is a writer, and she is comparing this to the Jared Lee Loughner situation, saying that there is so much that is so similar in this. Do you think that there are others that are linked up that could be said to have been perhaps ELF also, ELF technology involved?
Absolutely. This has been going on for a long time, and I know specifically because the pathology for this has been written down in protocols for the NSA. And years ago, many victims, the protocol come on, some of the scientists that they got from Germany went into the space program, and some of the scientists went into neuropsychology, mind control with MK Ultra and a bunch of other projects that evolved from that. So this goes back, and there's a trail, there's a history of this.
Yes. I have a question. I have one question from a listener that I think is really important here. What is the means of delivery? What is the means of delivery of the frequency to a single individual?
Okay, there are multiple technologies in play here. I've scanned several individuals. Many of them had biomedical implants. Biomedical implants operate on radio frequencies, and many of those radio frequencies have to be registered with the FCC, and some of them need repeaters to operate out of their distinct environment. Most of them don't know when or where they were implanted, and the frequency can vary anywhere in the radio range. Extreme low frequency, however, is an all-invasive technology. It's a naturally born carrier frequency that's in our wavelength between the ionosphere and Earth.
Wow. We're out of time, unfortunately. I've got to thank you so very much, Timothy White. We want to have you back on for 2 hours, and we'll talk about this technology. And thank you for what you're doing. Please stay focused and strong. We appreciate you so very much.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Absolutely. We'll be back tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Judith Berry Baker will be joining us. Remember the book Me and Lee and that New Orleans situation? I think you're going to want to tune in tomorrow also. This is incredible. Wow, what a program. Get it out to all your friends in the email blast. Get it copied to as many people as you can. Yeah, bless you all. It's all about the truth. We love you all at the Power Hour. We'll see you tomorrow.